All right. We are back. It is another Wednesday night. Freshman 15. A little bit of a different look this week. I am hosting the show this week. Chili will be joining us in just a moment. While you're at it, go ahead and follow me on Twitter at AJMorganFB. Um, and we're just going to wait a little bit for a couple people to hop in here, and then we'll get started.
What up? What up? Hey, this is kind of
What's
strange.
up?
Hey, like you're back on a Wednesday and we haven't seen you. Like you disappeared. It's kind of like in Boy Meets World when Morgan disappears and gets sent to her room and then comes back and is like a totally different person. I was like,
There we go.
I was kind of like stunned. I was like, oh dang, where's my boy Andrew been at?
The
And
return. The return of
hey,
Wednesdays. Band is over.
the return of the prodigal son. I am so grateful that you are back. How's everything been with you though, real quick, before we get into everything? How's everything been for you, and how's drumline and all that stuff? Because I've seen you cooking a little bit.
There we go. Yeah, the season just wrapped up. Still a football playoff game to be played this Friday.
Okay.
My boys take on Williamsfield. But
Okay.
yeah, the band season wrapped up, and we're just kind of moving forward. So I am back, I guess.
100%. And we're gonna be talking about some kids tonight that are actually like guaranteed to be younger than you, right? Because typically we're talking about guys that are not younger than you, most of which are actually older than you, but yet you refer to them as kids. So
I mean, yeah, I'm a kid too, but yeah, the only class that is like older than me now is 22s, which
the
is
only class
weird.
that's guaranteed to be older than you is 22.
Right.
Okay. There are some 23 older than you.
Yeah, it's weird. It's interesting, but yeah, man. I mean, if we're good, if we're waiting on a couple more people to hop in.
Let's just roll. Let's make this thing hum a little bit, and let's get right into it. Typically, the show is about 15 minutes long, but it's going to be a little bit longer tonight. I have a feeling because me and my boy Andrew, we haven't really talked in this forum like this in like a couple months, and it makes me sad a little bit. And one thing that I want to make sure that I bring to everybody's attention, like, look, man. My Wednesday Warriors team. This is going to be my all 2025 team, kind of for kids that I got to see live. And if I did not get to see them live, I took the chance to watch their huddles and things like that. So there's a little fairness to it, and there's a little unfairness to it, right? Because if I watched you live, you had to fully ball out. You had to be like one of the top 3 players in that game, or you had to be a difference maker, right? And that's hard sometimes. It's hard to be that guy like every single game, right? So look, celebrate your teammates that get the recognition, and don't punish the media members or member that didn't give you the juice that you want. Just make sure you go out there and show out when I come out to check you out during sevens, or when Andrew comes to check you out during sevens, or when whoever comes to check you out during sevens, or comes to check out your weight room workouts or whatever it is. Because look, man, my man Andrew over here, like my little brother, right? Like I beat him up a lot, with some things, but my man's fully got the verified check mark. I want to make sure everybody understands. He's got the blue check. I don't got the blue check. I don't got the blue check. No, but that's what I'm saying, right? Like I don't hate on you because you got it. I celebrate you because you have it and I don't, right?
There we go.
Just like you show me love for having like DJ Khaled following me, and you're like, dang, dude, that's kind of a cool follow to have. Like, hey, not everybody has DJ Khaled following them, right?
Yeah.
I mean, only like 3 million people, right? Because like 3 million, that fool follows everybody. Man, that fool follows everybody.
But hey, you're one of them, so
hey,
there we go.
I'm one of 3 million. It's all good. I think there's less blue check marks out there than people that have DJ Khaled following.
I'm curious. I'm actually curious how many there are. But anyway, that's for another time.
100%.
Let's hop right into quarterbacks.
You want to go quarterbacks, or do you want to start with the defense first? Defense always feels like, so we can start with defensive backs, or we can start with quarterbacks. Andrew, which one do you want to start with? You're kind of the guest. You're the host, but you're the guest.
Let's actually switch it up a bit. Let's go DBs first.
Okay, let's knock these boys out over here. We will talk about our DBs over here. Super talented group. I know that you took a look at this list. Real quick, your thoughts.
I mean, I know a few guys here and there when it comes to 25s. I'm still, getting myself acquainted, as I couldn't really go to freshman games this year. However, I will say there are some dudes that I recognize on this list, especially as we get through other positions.
Okay.
But you've got 9 guys, I believe,
Yes.
on the DBs list. Who would you say stood out the most? Was there anybody in person that really, really stood out?
Man, I absolutely love my guy Cree Thomas from Brophy. I got to watch him play against Basha this year. Super talented kid. Man, you can tell he fully dominates the freshman level, which is something that I wanted to see. I wanted to see kids that fully dominated when they played out there. They played to a tie. Another kid in that game that balled out, my man Gio Richardson. This is a kid that really pops out. He makes those wild plays. He's a stud. And Jayden Taylor, my guy over there at Higley, he didn't do anything except for return the game-winning interception against Williamsfield. Then got the interview, like he fully popped off. And Gavin Priest, a long kid over there at Highland, he made plays offensively for them, but you can totally tell he's going to be a super talented safety. I also love all these kids. I love all these kids. I got to see most of them play live. The only one I did not see play live, and you got to watch the film. My guy Andrew Morgan is committed to watching the film on some of these guys that are noted. My guy Jamal Beal Goins from Desert Edge. Hey, it is going to be straps season over at Desert Edge next year when he pairs up with my guy Andre Gibson. This is going to be a stud, Andrew, that I think, when you're directing a scouting room in the next 2 years, because you're probably going to graduate college early, that you're going to have to go chase. A lot of these kids, all of them. Hey, all of these kids are going to be in Andrew's notes and who he takes with him to college so that, he can let staffs know. Am I right? I'm right.
There we go. I will say the one kid out of these 9 DBs that I saw play was Cree Thomas.
Yeah.
Baller. Oh my gosh. I instantly, I kind of went into watching that game not really knowing anything about either team, even Boulder Creek, for that matter. I was just getting to know some of those kids. And he really stood out both ways a little bit that game, but specifically his defense, and he's definitely well deserved to be one of the 9.
Yeah, the kid's a full baller. My man Austin Bradley also played big in what I deemed like the freshman Super Bowl, if y'all remember. My man got that pick early. He made a point of it. He let everybody know who he was. He really stood out in that game. Chandler fully loaded, and he was one of the special players over there that I got to see, and obviously, made my Wednesday Warriors team on the freshman 15.
All right, so that just about does it for DBs. Why don't let's move to linebackers if we can. We'll kind of move down slowly to the bigs. I'm curious to see how many linebackers you have. I feel like linebacker, at the freshman level, you kind of see some hybrid guys, some guys that maybe won't end up playing linebacker when they get to varsity. Maybe they move to safety. Maybe they move down to the defensive line. So I'm curious to see, and it looks like you have seven linebackers.
Yes.
Once again, I'll go back to the same question. Who would you say stood out the most in person out of these 7?
This group was crazy. This is so Carlos Montoya. I got to watch him versus Chaparral. This is a kid whose film me and Jacob saw weekly. I know this is one of Jacob's favorite players, not because he plays for Liberty, but this man, does the things that you love, Andrew. He fills the gaps. He comes through that line. He finds the holes and punishes people in the backfield. You absolutely will love this kid. Another kid that made a lot of plays was Saguaro's Owen Pimbert. I think he's going to be more like a nickelback type, but he was an absolute stud. Also, Maddox Ford, I saw him do a whole bunch of things. You could see how athletic he was. He was playing running back for them in that Brophy game. He was getting some linebacker opportunities, and he's got a rich family legacy of football here in the state of Arizona. Maddox Ford is going to be a dude to watch out for at Basha. But Brody Olson was the crazy one because my man's a quarterback. My man was a quarterback straight lining up and taking running backs out. So when I got to watch him play live, I was kind of stunned, man. I did not expect that because even on the freshman level, in the 5A, 6A, you don't see a lot of quarterbacks that are going to go line up early in the game in the first, second, third quarter, early in the game, and try to take out the opposing quarterback. And he's one of them. And, he's got nice chase down speed, and he was able to come from the backside and make plays. Like, this is a kid that's tough, and I think he's going to really get an opportunity to contribute in Coach Hamilton's defense over there.
I found, like, over the past, year and a half, 2 years, two-way quarterbacks are some of the toughest athletes that I've ever come across. Like, if you are a quarterback, a good quarterback, usually I've found that, like, the two-way guys are usually dual threat, can move a little. But, like, if you're a two-way quarterback, you're just a beast. I mean, it takes guts to go out there and play both ways.
Facts. And I see it looks like Papa Camerata over here chiming in the chat, talking about Montoya is a great running back also. He definitely did his thing on the offensive side of the ball too in the game that I was at. But man, he really stood out. He really stood out in that Chaparral game, punishing people on defense. I really enjoyed watching him.
Awesome. So moving on, we will switch up positions again, and we'll go to D-line here, getting down to the trenches. Notice how Jacob said Montoya's a dog. Like you just said, he's such a big fan of him, which is interesting.
No, for sure.
I trust Jacob's eye. That's all I'm going to say.
I don't know if I fully trust Jacob's eye because he likes the coleslaw. So, like, I don't know if we doing all that. But I will say, like I said in the chat, my man Jacob for sure is not lying. So, like, Montoya was definitely a dog, definitely somebody to watch out for in the future. Probably going to make the jump up to varsity next year. I definitely see big things for him in the future.
So we have 7 defensive linemen on your Wednesday Warriors team, 2 of which are from Chandler. Talk to me about Tice Turner and Bennett Scheller.
Bennett Scheller, one of my highly rated freshmen on my top 40 list. This is a kid that he's a space eater. This is a big boy. He definitely has that varsity size already. You can just eyeball him and tell that, once he gets in that Chandler weight room and starts really working with them Chandler varsity coaches, this is going to be a guy that should be a Power 5 kid easy. Tice Turner, super special, also got speed to get into the backfield. The kids that really stood out to me on that Chandler front were both of these ones. I wasn't sure if I was going to get the opportunity to see Bennett because I know that he got pulled up to varsity early, but he went back down to freshman when people, I guess, got healthy and things like that after varsity got their look. But he spent the time on freshman. There's nothing wrong with that. Look, if you can be groomed on the freshman level early, that's a blessing. That is a blessing. You learn the game, you learn the system, and what Coach Boyd has going on over there, the program that he's got is absolutely amazing. I think they've lost one game in his 3 years as a head coach. So one maybe two. So
dominant.
And they didn't lose any this year. Bennett and Tice are part of the reason. Another kid on this list that I really want you to get a look at some point, Garrett Martin is going to be the next stud at Saguaro. I am fully, and I'm going to put the pressure on him now because I think once I put the pressure on him now, it's going to be easier as he goes along and he'll know what the expectations are. This could be the next guy to put his name on the All-American wall over there at Saguaro. Look, I'll tell you one thing that I know about Saguaro. Those kids leave it better than when they got there. And that goes for Somerville, who left it for my man Tristan. And that goes for Tristan, who's leaving it for my guy Garrett. I'm telling you, Garrett's going to be the next great one. I think that this kid is absolutely special. This could be a high 3-star, 4-star type kid. Easy. Also, these boys over at Castile, when I watched them play against Hamilton, they really handled that business. These are 2 kids that, I think that, they're going to be part of the foundation over there, the young foundation with this 24 class and this 25 class. I think that once they get these guys right in the weight room and things like that, it's really going to help them out as they make this transition to the Premier region.
I completely agree. I've have, like I said, not watched much freshman football this year, but from what I know and from what I've heard, Castillo's a sleeping giant. I mean, they've got young guys aplenty that are just waiting their turn. So definitely a team to keep an eye on in the years to come.
Hey, your boy Tice, I call him Little Tice, even though like he's not very little. Like he's like 2 of me, so he's like 4 of you. But like my man was eating against Red Mountain. My man was doing that thing. Really held them down. And Jacob Helt, I got to watch him, and he was kind of playing like an H-back running back type role for Corona del Sol. But you can tell his body type, like he might be a defensive end down the line, and I really think that he'll be able to help them. He got a little bit of time there, but I think that's where he's really going to help that program.
Kind of a Mardell Rowe-esque move.
A little bit.
Well, that'll wrap up D-line, and let's flip it over and go to the offensive side of the trenches. Let's take a look at O-line coming up here. Quite a few names that I've heard, offensive linemen in the state, and yes, there are a lot. Talk to me. Who sticks out the most?
Man, this job that, going back to Liberty, I got to watch them against Chaparral. My man Nick Spence was throwing kids around, and he's got great size, looked really, really good. Thomas Atafua from Hamilton, I think that's how you pronounce his last name. I got to watch him against Castile. They lost that game, but this is a kid that, really handled his business and was pushing kids around. I love Dante Messina and the film that I've seen on him. I think that, he's going to be a guy that's going to be a real good part of Coach Cole's foundation up there at O'Connor. So I know Jacob loves him, right? Because that's like one of Jacob's teams, right? So I think that, this is a good group right here, man. I think that my man over there from Saguaro Salas kind of, is a little slept on, just like my man Kopp from Brophy. These kids are gonna be tough. And Rocco from Castile, man, that kid probably one of the strongest kids in the 24-25 classes over there. And Sam Garcia is a lock, man. This is a kid that was high up on my watch list early in the season. So I fully expect that, he's going to step right in. And I know he's gotten varsity time this year. So I think that he's going to be a dude. And these boys from Chandler, you know how Chandler goes. And CS, Dudley, they paved the way. I got to watch them in that freshman Super Bowl that I dubbed. And it was a problem. And my man Ocon from Desert Vista, this is a dude that like absolutely just crushes people. He's strong. I anticipate that he's definitely going to be a guy over there for Coach Wisdom.
And Camerata in the chat congratulating Anderson on his nomination to the Wednesday Warriors. And Jacob saying, that's my favorite in his Sandy Charles voice.
It got to be talking about Nick Spence, and that is going to be a favorite for Jacob. Or he's talking about Dante Messina, right? Because y'all show that Northwest Valley love. So, Brody Wellman's tough, man. Hey, this is a kid. I got to watch him on film and stuff. This is a kid that's going to be an absolute dog. I'm not going to lie. This is a kid that really popped out on film. I just want to see a little bit more. This is a kid that I want to see, up close and see how his body is and stuff like that. I know we're talking about a defensive lineman over there, but that's definitely a dog.
All right, so let's switch gears once again and head over to the receivers. And I believe we combined wide receivers and tight ends, because I know Arizona is interesting. You got a lot of hybrids now between the two, and we're also like quickly becoming like the tight end state. I think we have 6 tight ends in the 23 class with Division I offers, and I know we have multiple more in the 22 class. So let's get started. You've got 2 Chandler boys at the top. You've actually got 3 on the list total. Run me through. I've heard a lot about Aiden Browder. Is that who you said?
Yeah, Aiden Browder is going to be a monster. He's going to fit that Nason Coleman type role, right? Like he's strong. He's an absolute punisher when it comes to blocking. He can catch passes, runs routes clean. I think that Aiden is going to definitely be a dude to look out for. Obviously, Nason kind of had some injury issues, right? If Aiden doesn't run into those same injury issues, this is a kid that could easily be part of what carries Arizona as a tight end state. Those other 2 kids, though, Kimon Jackson, woo, watch out. Like when he couples up with like Justice Span and some of those kids from the 24 class, it's going to be issues. And Carter Ochoa is so nice with his feet. I watched him catch a beauty of a pass on the side of the end zone and keep his feet in bounds, man. Hey, that kid's special. This kid over there at Williams Field, I want to show him some love. Absolutely had zero problems getting by DBs when I watched him against Higley. I see Jacob over here chiming in on my guy, Greg Toller Jr. This kid is going to be a monster athlete over at Highland. I am not sure how Coach Farrell is going to use him. I heard that he was the starting quarterback for the freshman team. When I went out there, he was playing wide receiver, athlete, whatever. They were plugging him into any position that allowed him to use his feet to his strength. And he was destroying people over there against Desert Ridge, right? He was destroying the defensive backs over there. Then at the end of the game, he turned into the backup quarterback. And what did he do? They tried to temper him a little bit. All he did was, run some touchdowns in, throw a deep pass to my guy Gavin Priest. That kid is absolutely special, man. Just like all these kids are doing their thing. JJ Francis from Notre Dame Prep, I watched him in the first 6 minutes of the game score 2 touchdowns against Horizon's super talented group of athletes over there, right? JJ Francis took back like a 40-yard interception on Horizon's first drive for a touchdown that counted. And then about like 3 minutes later, when Notre Dame Prep went on offense, he caught like a 90-yard swing pass. My man was out of breath. Like he was like, hey, the swing pass didn't count, but you could see the athletic ability, the get loose ability. That kid was tough. This is a tough group. Adam Wagner ended up being the game breaker in that game, and he took back a nice kickoff, made some nice catches, caught a nice touchdown. And Isaiah White from Apollo, man, I got to show these boys from Apollo some love. They had some dogs over there. They had a defensive back that was nice, but Isaiah White stood out, stretched out to make some nice catches, and made a nice touchdown against Desert Mountain. I think Isaiah White is definitely going to be a kid to look out for, especially when you pair him up with a 24 talent like Adam Muhammad. This is going to be a lot of fun. And Elijah Beeman from Castile, electric, absolutely electric. These are going to be kids that, all these guys, we're going to be watching them in the future. So Andrew, hey, keep your eyes on all these guys.
I will say, going back to another Brophy kid that I was able to see during the season, Christian Camerata. He's kid, oh my gosh. He had a great return. Had a great return that game. I remember like numerous times, like him just routing someone up, and I'm like, okay, that's how it's gonna be. Like, yeah, I was so impressed by that kid. Definitely someone who's gonna be playing on Friday nights.
Easy
for a long time, and eventually Saturdays as well.
I can guarantee that this kid's a stud. As long as he stays on course, as long as he follows, what Coach Jewell's saying. Coach Jewell got the connects like AT&T, so he's gonna make this happen for sure. I think Christian's got a very, very bright future. Plus, his older brother was a product over there, and I think his older brother can help him out with some things. And this is gonna be a nice situation over at Brophy. I think last year's over season, I don't think we're gonna see many of those down the line.
I agree. Let's move on once more and go to running backs. Running back at the freshman level is interesting. There's some projection things, I guess, similar to linebacker, where a lot of times freshman running backs don't stay running backs. Like you mentioned someone earlier was in a running back H-back
Ryan
role.
Hill from Corona del Sol.
Yes, and the chances of him moving to D-line are pretty good. Mardell Rowe last year off the top of my head for Brophy. So, some of these running backs, they're going to move to slot roles, D-line, whatever. However, we've got some studs on here, and I already recognize a couple names. Let's start with Grant Williams.
Hey, Grant Williams is a stud, man. He carried Saguaro literally in that game versus South Point. South Point highly regarded. I know they were missing some dudes that I was trying to see, but they absolutely blew South Point out. I thought South Point was going to be one of the top teams, and we're going to get to that next week. But Grant Williams was a dog, man. This is a super talented kid. My man Jayden Smith from Red Mountain. I see Jacob. Me and Jacob watched a lot of film on this kid. I think going into it, Jayden Smith made a lot of nice plays against Mountain View. I was waiting for him to pop off, and he finally did. Levi Johnson, a big volume back for Centennial. Got to watch him versus Pinnacle. This is a kid that did his thing and really showed a lot of Centennial potential, right? Because Centennial likes to run 3-4 running backs, and I think he'll fit right into that system over there. And he showed it because he can carry the ball. He must have. He seriously, if you watch the vlog, he might have had double whatever you see in carries. He might have had like 30 carries that night. Me and Coach Carroll from Pinnacle were watching, and dude, we were counting it up, and I think we missed a lot, but we were up to like 22 carries. So he was definitely doing his thing.
Pretty much on par, I would say, historically for Centennial. So that'll be a good fit moving forward to have a high carry back.
Hey, and real quick, Raiden Vinesbright from Colonel Del Sol, he played running back. I think this kid's gonna probably be like a slot, like you said. He's probably gonna make that transition, but he'll be good for them to take some of these jet sweeps, and he's fully learning how to embrace contact and things like that. Dom Lombardo from Liberty, an absolute punisher. Xavier Valdivia from Chandler. Go watch his 15 minutes of film. He's got his highlights up there. This is one of the highest IQ running backs that you will see in this class. You can see him pre-snap making the reads, figuring out where he's going to go, what the linebackers are going to do, how he's going to make that move in the second level, how his offensive line, like which player is going to be the odd man for him to have to beat. Andrew, you and your dad, go watch some of this kid's film. You guys will fully grab the popcorn and enjoy it. I watched every minute and loved it.
I remember, so I've seen some of his film. I remember after I think it was the Chandler Castile game, you called me and you were like, "Hey, this kid Xavier, he's a Division I talent. Like you need to watch this kid." And
easy.
That doesn't happen often, so that had to be a good sign.
Easy. No, for sure, man. And that's what I do with my guy Andrew, right? Because Andrew, you're gonna be a player personnel director someday. You're gonna be a scout someday. So I try to make sure that my early guy is early on these guys. But yeah, Xavier is definitely a dude, and I can't wait to see how Coach Garrettson uses him and plugs him into the offense over there on varsity. I know that he's a pull-up, so hey, this is gonna be a fun career to watch.
All right, so let's move on to the final position group. Possibly saving the most hype for last.
Right, but before we do that, I gotta know, man. Because I know you spend some time breaking these kids down and stuff like that. With this quarterback group, this is something that's special. Not just because it's the most hype position on the field, but this is kind of something that I've been doing for a while, watching like the Rattlers and the Millers and all those kids come through, the DeMond Williams, and projecting them early, right? What are some things that you look for when you're watching quarterback film? What are some things that you like to see from these quarterbacks?
At the freshman level specifically, you don't necessarily need to expect the same arm strength and accuracy and development that you're going to see from a junior and a senior. Like it's not reasonable for that to be there yet, and that's perfectly fine. Really, what I'm looking for is like, are you a leader? Are you a game manager? Are you like tough and that you can just put your head down and get yards? Stuff like that is like you can't be trained to do that. That just kind of comes naturally, and that's stuff that those are all skills that quarterbacks, especially at the Division I level, must have. I mean, you look at guys who end up going Division I. There's so many like intangible traits that they possess, and that really separates them from the rest of the field. And so at a freshman level, that's pretty apparent already. You either have it or you don't. And that arm strength and that accuracy and working through progressions, that'll come with time. it doesn't necessarily have to be judged as early as possible.
And I'm glad that you brought that up. I was curious what you were going to say. Me and you did not have this conversation before, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really glad that you brought that up, because one thing that I do want to say is I know when I show up, I know a lot of these quarterbacks want to showcase that they can get the ball downfield, that they can take the top off. But dude, if you think about this, I honestly don't mind if that deep bomb is your check down guy, because you got to think, if a kid's running that 4.3 necessary speed to get down the field to get that ball, he's probably on varsity. If he's running that 4.3, he's probably on varsity, right? So like, if that's your second read, dude, it's okay. Look for the intermediate guy first. Like that doesn't mean that you can't throw the ball. Let your receiver develop his situation versus the cornerback versus the defensive back, because if you don't, you might be overthrowing that kid by like 10, 15 yards, and you're going to look crazy. So, yeah.
Well, and that's just it, is like, it's not just the quarterbacks that have a lot of development to go. Like the whole point of freshman football is that everybody on the team is, just getting their feet wet when it comes to the high school game and a bit of a quicker pace. And that development comes all around. You're going to have receivers that have some things they need to touch up on, and no one's going to be polished as a freshman. And so it's just kind of a chance, like, at least I use it as a chance to see, like, okay, is this kid an athlete? Is this kid capable of making, wow plays? And at the quarterback position, do you have the intangibles, and can you lead your team? I mean, really, that's what it comes down to.
100%. One thing I want to get into before we bring these quarterbacks up. One, it does help if I saw your kid play live to kind of get an idea. But that wasn't necessary. Also, coaches need to pick up their phones when I call. Coaches, please pick up your phones, because I got a list of coaches that I reached out to because I wanted to talk to them about some certain players. They did not pick up their phones. So if you feel like you should have been on this list, make sure you go to your freshman coach, bother your freshman coach first, your freshman head coach, and ask, hey, did Chili call? Because chances are I probably did. Find out who I might have called, because honestly, like, I might have called a varsity assistant coach, a freshman head coach, possibly the varsity head coach. But chances are I hit somebody up in the program to inquire, and maybe they didn't pick up. I could name off some schools. I won't do that. I will spare some of these schools this year. Next year, I'm putting everybody on blast. Andrew probably will not be with me during that program, but Andrew's like, no, do not drop that bomb. But there is that, right? Like, it helps if I was there live. It helps if Andrew might have seen somebody, or Jacob might have seen somebody. I don't have to be the only one there, right? Andrew went to some freshman games. Jacob, I think, tried to check out some freshman games. So it helps to obviously make an impression on somebody that I'm close with. And yeah, it helps if your coaches pick up their phones. So yeah, without further ado, we can get to as Andrew put it this way, the most hyped position. I did not say that. That was an Andrew quote. So
that's just like all of the media world, I guess. That might not be the right answer, but it is, like, that's just the way it is. I mean, getting right into it, we've got 5 dudes, and I have heard of all 5 of them, actually. So let's get into it. Going back to the same question I've been asking all night, who is or who was the most impressive in person out of these 5?
Man, all these kids were absolutely different. Hey, and I know what Jacob's doing right here already, right? Trevor Lawrence 2.0. I dubbed Paul Palmer Trevor Lawrence 2.0. My man is still cool and calm, and I know Castile struggled against Chandler. I know that's what everybody's gonna say. But Paul Palmer is an absolute dude, and I think that once he gets up on varsity and gets an opportunity, I think that he's really gonna show out. These guys all literally impressed me differently. Jackson Knutson led Chandler in a big game and didn't flinch. My man made all the plays. He was painting the sidelines. He was getting the ball to where only his receivers could get it. He led his team. He didn't complain. Like, he could have argued to showcase his deep ball a little bit more, because I think that he might have the best deep ball out of the group. Bryce Hergis literally almost led the comeback versus Liberty. They missed a 2-point conversion that would have given them the victory. But, they were struggling to contain Liberty's run game. I know that that's not on Hergis, but Hergis made some plays, made some great plays to his receiver. And he's got a talented receiver that probably should have been on the list for this Wednesday Warriors group. But I think his name was Dawson Dorward. I can't remember his name, but super talented kid. And Bryce was making those plays. Bryce got injured for 2 series, and Chaparral kind of struggled. And that's kind of how like how important a quarterback is. Yeah. If that quarterback goes down, can the team just actually like get somebody else in there and not miss a beat? Hezekiah Millender, I was wondering who was going to try to chase my man Brady McDonough in those 52 touchdowns. Hezekiah Millender was the guy over there at Desert Edge. I think I counted 40. I started keeping track after 20, and my man was doing that thing. He was a young flamethrower over there at Desert Edge and might take over for Adrian Lara. Hey, this kid might have played varsity as a freshman if Adrian wasn't there. This kid can run, dual threat kid. He can handle that RPO offense that the Carters are going to make him run. This kid is the deal. I am expecting him to start next year, barring something wild happening. Speaking of wild, my man Wyatt Horton, Papa Camerata over here checking in, talking about Bryce and Wyatt, they're studs. My man Wyatt Horton's an absolute dog, man. His feet, way better than I thought. I expected the arm to be there. I expected the high IQ, but his feet are absolutely crazy. It's like he's walking on hot coals. Like, this kid can move. He can move out of the pocket, and he can move in the pocket to keep the pocket. So, like, this kid's gonna be nice. Pinnacle might have something special over here. Could be a 3-year starter over there.
So I've seen film on all 5 of these guys, actually. However, I've only seen one in person so far, and I want to see all these guys because from what I've heard and from what I've seen on film, all 5 have chances to be starters at some point, if not next year. And all 5 are probably Division I talent. So the one that I will say I've seen in person, Bryce Hergis, I saw when at the time he was still in middle school. It was at a 7-on-7 tryout.
Okay.
He was slinging it. Like, yeah. He was surrounded by like older quarterbacks, and I'm like, yeah, this kid's pretty good. Once I figured out that he was at the time only an 8th grader, I was like, okay, he's gonna lead his team to something special. And I'm excited. I'm really excited for that kid.
Hey, look, Andrew, you got to give me my due, man. Was I right about Rowan McKenzie, how good he was, man?
Oh, yeah.
That's the guy over at Boulder Creek. Yeah. That kid's a stud. Like, I projected that he was going to be a dude, and he was a dude. Connor Ackerley, I projected that he was going to be a guy, and all he did was, win the region title for Coronado. So, obviously, the team had a little bit of something to do with that. But, he was the quarterback. He got the clout. So, like, shout out to Connor Ackerley. My guy, Brady McDonough, preseason projections, right? And Brady McDonough was an absolute dog, threw 52 touchdowns. Demond Williams, only one of the top dual threat kids in the country, right? So, hey, at least give me a little bit of my praise. Give me my flowers.
Yeah, you've got track record with quarterbacks going now. You're racking them up.
Hey, you know the deal. You know what it is, man. Hey, Andrew, how does it feel being back on Wednesday nights and hanging out?
It feels good. It feels good. I'm excited as we're getting down the stretch and entering playoffs. I'm excited for really December 11th, December 10th and 11th, I guess. Just the big weekend that this whole season has been pushing forward towards. It's going to be fun. I'm happy the games are back at ASU. I'm happy that they staggered playoff games for once, so we can actually see them all. That's incredible. I'm just pumped, man. We have postseason football.
Hey, I'm kind of curious. Are you hoping for a Chandler Hamilton rematch since you had to miss it because you had to do your own senior night?
I think that's the consensus. I would say is everybody kind of expects that. I'm not counting anybody out.
Okay.
I think we're going to see some upsets. And who knows? We'll see when we get there. It'll be a fun one.
Hey, if one of the usual suspects does not win, if one of the, because we're all kind of thinking it's gonna be Chandler or Hamilton, right? If one of the usual suspects does not win, who has the best chance out of the other 6? Who do you think, if you're guessing?
So if one wins, the other probably does. I think that's just the way it's going to be. But if neither of them have to win, I think Basha has the best shot.
Okay.
Basha is a 3 seed is crazy, but then you look at the 2 teams in front of them and it's like, all right, okay, makes sense. So Basha, they're going to make a run.
Next week we got another big show. We're going to do it live on Twitch. The top 15 freshman teams. Andrew, you coming back to host, right?
Yes. I'll be back next week. Top 15 teams. It's going to be a fun one.
Hey, I can't wait. Hey, Andrew, I really appreciate you hanging out. I'm going to let you get up out of here and get some homework done or beat the drums or whatever it is that you do. Later, bro. I'll catch up with you sometime next week.
All right, see you.
Hey, my man Andrew holding it down. I think you can follow him at AJ Morgan FB. Hey, I really appreciate all the support from everybody. I really appreciate everybody hanging out with me every Wednesday. Make sure you guys tune in. Same place next week. The freshman 15 and the top 15 teams that I think. This is just what I think, right? There's one person's opinion. And, there's only so many kids that I can go check out. But, hey, follow your guy at Just Chili, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. Make sure that you guys tune in. JustChili.tv on YouTube. I'm going to make sure that this whole thing goes up on YouTube so you guys can clip it up and do whatever it is you guys do. Your boy Chili, I am out of here. Support, subscribe, follow. Y'all know what it is.